Hey everyone, I'm Sunita, Microsoft Certified Trainer and a Fabric Data Analyst. Having spent a lot of time inside Microsoft Fabric, I have noticed one thing that is always true. No matter what you're trying to build, data pipelines are the heart of it, and that brings everything together. But when you look for the tutorial documents, so they often feel way too complicated and or maybe jump straight into the deep end. So that's exactly why I created this series. And in this series, we will learn data pipeline step by step in a very practical way. We will explore each activity, understand how it works, and build real examples together. So this is for everyone, especially if you are starting from scratch and want a clear understanding of data pipelines. So if you find this useful, your support through likes and comments really help and keep me motivated to create more. All right, let's get started. All right, so what actually is a data pipeline? To understand it, let's look at a problem we all face at work. So you start your day and sit down at your desk when you go to the work, and you need to create a report. But first, you have to get the data. Maybe the data is coming from a SQL database or an Excel file or from maybe another department or even a website also. Maybe you are getting this data from the 10 multiple different source. Okay, all right. So now you are probably doing this manually and downloading the files, cleaning them, copying and pasting, and combining, loading to the database. And before all the things you know, your half of your morning is gone. And honestly, the whole process time consuming, and there are always chances of mistakes. And we realize that spending all time just moving data instead of analyzing it. So this is where the data pipeline comes in, and instead of doing all things in manually, you can automate it. The pipeline will pick the data from the stores, all the stores, clean it properly, and load it into the one central place. And the best part of it is you have to set it once and it runs every day on its own, right? So in the end, your data is ready to use all in one place for reporting and the analysis purpose without all that daily hassle. All right, so every pipeline is made of three simple things. Let me explain each one. So first one is the activity. So these are individual steps in your pipeline. For example, copy the data and look through this list or run the notebook. So you can think of these as the individual steps of your pipeline. Each activity is a specific task. For example, if you want copy a list of patient record from one folder to another, then copy action is an activity. So it's basically you telling the system you want to do this specific job right now. Now second is the connection. So these control what happens next. Okay, so this connection define how steps link together, or does the next step run and when the previous one succeed, or when it fails, or always no matter what. So your pipeline, without this your pipeline wouldn't know where to go, right? And third one is a trigger. So this is what start the pipeline, and it could be a schedule. For example, you can schedule it run every night at 11 p.m. or 8 a.m. in the morning. So it could be maybe it could be a file arriving in a folder, or maybe it could be you uh, clicking run manually. Okay, so activity, connection, and trigger. So these three things make up every pipeline, and keep them in mind. We will use all three in our examples shortly. So, after understanding what problem we face, now the question comes, what is a data pipeline exactly? So, a data pipeline is an automated system that moves data from one place to another and clean or transform it along the way. So it pick up the files, or it pick up the files from the sources like databases, APIs, files, and application, and it collect and process and move data. Basically, this is the pipeline process, and you get the output in the your destination. So now in Microsoft Fabric, you actually build this pipeline in a very simple way using the data factory. The keyword here is the automated, right? So you set it once, after that it runs on its own on a schedule basis without you having to do anything manually. So you don't have to write any complex code or anything like that. It's mostly visual type. You just drag and drop different steps onto the canvas and connect them, almost like putting together building blocks. So every uh, like a file or a database and puts it somewhere else like lake house or warehouse. And if you want to learn with a single activity or start with something in the pipeline, you can do this because it's a very easy one. And the group 2 activities basically for the control flow, and this group control the logic of your pipeline. So for example, for each lets you look for each file in this folder or do these steps, and if condition let you make decisions. If this is true, go this way, and if not, go that way, until keeps running until something some conditions become true or something becomes true. And execute pipeline let you run one pipeline from inside another. Okay, so it useful when you want to keep things nest and organized. And set variable lets you store a value to use later in the pipeline. Wait activity is basically for for the pause for a set number of seconds if you want in middle of the activity. And group 3 is the data transformation. So this is where you reshape or process the data itself. A notebook runs as Spark notebook for heavy data processing, and data flow gen 2 gives you a visual drag and drop style transformation similar to Power Query. And a script activity basically lets you run SQL directly, and store procedures calls a saved SQL procedure from your database. And the group 4 activity is basically utility, and these are the small but very useful helpers. And lookup fetches a specific value to use in your logic, like you want to look something something in your pipeline. So get metadata checks a file or folder. Does it exist? How large is it? And delete removes file after they have been processed. And the web activity calls an external device. All right, so we have discussed the pipeline activities. Now you are thinking that how we can use these pipeline activities in real scenarios and in real cases. Okay, so let's understand this with an example. Imagine you work at a company that has five store across different regions, and every night at 11 p.m., each store saves its daily sales data as a CSV file and upload it to a shared storage folder, right? So every morning, someone needs to take those five files, load the data into a central table, and make sure everything is clean and ready for reporting. So these all things you are doing manually, right? So right now this is being done manually, and someone open the folder, download the file one by one, and load them in every single day. Now your job is to automate this completely, right? So here is how a data pipeline solve it. Now the first thing is the pipeline start by reading the storage folder. So this step check with what files are in waiting here, and how many files are there, what are their names. So all these things first we take through the get metadata activity. And here Then now we loop through every file in that list. For each file, the pipeline will run the next step automatically. And this is the core of the automation basically. And each file is copied from the blob storage into the lakehouse table, right? So for each file, we copy the sales data from the storage folder into our central lakehouse table. So this is where the data lands and get stored properly, right? Now we save the file name and the number of rows that were loaded. So this give us a log, basically a record of what was processed, when and how much data come in. Very useful for checking later. And after this completing this log file and the row count, once the file is loaded, we delete it from the source folder. So this keep the folder clean and make sure the same file is not loaded again tomorrow by mistake. So this is done by the delete activity. Okay. Now next step is the on failure path if the activity gets failed. Okay. So this is basically happen through the web activity. So this step is the safety net. If anything goes wrong, a file cannot be copied or the steps itself fails. The pipeline does not just stop silently. This activity automatically sends an alert to a Teams or a Slack channel so the right person knows immediately, right? So this is through the this is happened through the web activity. Now finally, we schedule the entire pipeline to run every night at 11:15 p.m. or maybe 11 p.m., whatever the time suits you or your team management. So, 15 minutes after the store finish uploading these files, and that's it. 5 files, 7 step, and the whole things run automatically every single night without anyone having to do anything. No manual work, no missed file, no one staying late to run a report. So just a pipeline doing its job quietly in the background. And this is exactly what data pipelines are built for. All right, so we have seen that real examples and how we can use in the real scenario data pipelines. So let me show you the common situation where data pipelines are used. So you can see here different ways Fabric pipeline can be applied in data engineering and automation workflow. So you can see here different use cases of Microsoft Fabric pipelines, and you can think of pipeline as automated workflow that can help us to move, process and organize data. So each box here represents a common scenario where pipeline are useful. So first one is the ETL oblique ELT workflow. So this is basically taking raw data from the source system and loading it into a central place like lake house or warehouse, and then transforming it into a clean usable format. Okay, so we can use it in both ETL extract transform load and ELT extract load and transform workflows. Second one is the data ingestion. So in this pipeline can be useful automatically pull data from different sources like APIs, databases, and or files on a regular schedules. So information flows in here without any manual efforts. So third one is the batch processing, and instead of processing data continuously, so pipeline can handle large volume of data at a time at set of time, and likely maybe daily or hourly, weekly. So that depends on the means requirement. Okay. So in batch processing, we can use a pipeline. In orchestration, pipeline can coordinate multiple tasks in sequence, like first run a notebook, then data flow, then a SQL script, all in the right order. And next is the file processing. So in this, pipeline can manage files by moving, renaming, archiving, or deleting them as part of the workflow. And last one is the dependency management. So here pipeline can enforce rules like only running pipeline B after pipeline A has successfully finished. Okay. So these type of dependency management can be handled by the pipeline itself. So together all these six use cases shows how pipeline act as the backbone of the data operations, just like automative repetitive tasks, ensuring orders, and keeping data flowing smoothly. All right, so now let's look at the some benefits of using Microsoft Fabric pipelines. So first one is the no code, low code builder. So this means you don't need to be a hardcore programmer. Beginners can visually design workflow without writing any complex code. So that's the biggest advantage of using the pipelines. uh, Another one is the built into Microsoft Fabric. So there is a no extra setup required for that, for using the pipeline. No separate infrastructure. Everything runs inside the fabric. Okay, so it's a seamless and integrated. 3.1 is the support 100 plus connectors right out of the box. So you can connect to databases, APIs, SaaS tools, and more. So that's a huge flexibility without custom development. That's a biggest advantage of the using the pipeline of this. Number four is the scales automatically. So you don't need to worry about servers or compute power. Fabric handles scaling for you, whether you are processing small data sets or the massive volume. Number five. So native integrations like pipeline work hand in hand with Lakehouse, warehouse, notebooks, and data flows. It's all part of one ecosystem. So your workflows stay connected with all the required workloads like warehouse, notebooks, data flows. Number six, so full monitoring and run history. You can track every run, see, you can see the logs and the monitor performances. So that means transparency and control over your data processes. So in short, we can say Fabric pipelines are easy to build, deeply integrated, highly scalable, and fully monitored. So they are designed to make data automation accessible and reliable for everyone. All right, so we have seen that some use cases and benefits of the pipeline, and let's be honest, every tool has its own limitations, and pipeline are also no exceptions for that. So this highlights five important ones where pipelines cannot work efficiently. So pipeline is basically not for the real time streaming, right? Pipelines are designed for schedule for batch processing, so not for the live data streams. So if you need real time is streaming or real time execution, you will use event stream instead. Okay, and if you try to build very complicated workflows, so the design screen or the canvas can start looking messy, so like a tangled map. So it's better to keep things simple and break big processes into the smaller step. So for the complex logics, pipeline can be not a good choice. Now, the third one is that troubleshooting can be hard for the beginners when using the pipeline, or when something goes wrong in a pipeline. It can take time to figure out where the issue is. Beginners may find it tricky at first, but with the practice, it gets easier. Fourth one is a limited built-in transformation. So for heavy data reshaping, you have to still use notebooks or the data flows. Pipelines alone are not enough for the advanced transformations. And some advanced features require the fabric capacity or premium features which are not available in the free trial. You will need the fabric capacities for the those. So with this, and I wrap up day one for our pipeline series. So today we covered the fundamental use cases, benefits, and limitations. So these all are the basic concepts you need before diving deeper. And in the next video, we will start some hands-on activities one by one using real-world examples, and you will see how to actually build and run pipeline in Fabric step by step. So stay tuned because the real fun begins